Hey everybody, this is Glenn from An American Couple, and I'm going to talk to you today about gear bags, the things you need to take, the things you don't need to take.
Ooh, an American Couple.
Okay, this is the gear bag that we carry with us in our 1973 MG Midget. Because we travel in such a small car, we had to actually find a really small gear bag. The width of our car is so small that we needed something that was only 9 inches wide that would sit between the two seats. Well, we found it in this bag here. This particular bag is actually 9.5 inches wide. It's fairly small compared to most gear bags. So what does that mean? It means we had to put less things in it. When we first started our trips, we brought a lot of things that we really didn't need. And for the first 2 years, it took us time to kind of figure out what we needed on a daily basis and what we didn't need on a daily basis. What's in this bag right here is based on our experiences of what we need when we're in a one-day pack, basically away from our vehicle or our tent. Your needs may be a little bit different than ours, so you may pack a few extra things, but if you're new to this, I'm going to give you some great ideas of things to put in your pack. So let's get started. Okay, obviously you got your bag already. Well, I'm going to go through the outside pockets first. First thing I'm going to do is on this side over here is a pair of FRS radios. Now, if you're not familiar with what these are basically family frequency radios. They say they have a range of about 5 miles. The reality, they're really good for about 1.5 miles. My wife and I don't usually travel too far apart, but in the event that we are just without shouting distance, these things come in real handy. And if you ever find yourself in trouble, there's always somebody listening, usually to an FRS frequency somewhere around in a park. So I carry a pair of those. On the outside here also is our go-to camera, which is our GoPro. Now this is a GoPro Hero 7 Black. We've only had it for less than a year now, but we've tried the DJI Osmos. We've tried a few different types of action camera. For us, the GoPro Hero 7 Black really seems to be a really good piece of gear. We like it. Cameras aren't any good unless you can get to them. If you pack this in your bag, in the glove box, or in the trunk, and you need to take a quick shot of something, so whatever your go-to camera is, make sure it's accessible. That's why ours sits in the outside of the pack. The great thing also about this, the GoPro mount that it's on here, this handle, converts also into a tripod. We've tried all different kinds of selfie sticks. This particular one here is rugged. We've actually had this in the ocean, in saltwater, freshwater. We take this one pretty much everywhere. So it's actually a really good mount. So this keeps you from having to have a small tripod with you. All right, so we're going to work our way around the bag a little bit. Outside pocket. This is our extra bag that carries some things like the most important tool you'll ever bring. And no, this isn't just a pen. This is a screwdriver set and a small light. It never fails. You'll get out on the trail and something will be loose or something will fall off and you'll wish you had a small, tiny screwdriver. This precision screwdriver, which actually has a light on the end of it as well, it's kind of cool, allows you to do some minor repairs, and this has really saved ourselves a bunch of times. We also carry a miniature tripod. This is actually an aluminum one that's a little more rugged than most of the ones you see. We can actually attach our Osmo, which I'll show you in a few minutes, as well as any other little camera to it. These are really super handy. This one here is actually kind of rugged. It's a little better construction than most of the ones you'll find. We like this one, and it collapses pretty small. We also carry in here an extra lavalier microphone for our wireless microphone system that I'm also going to show you a little bit later. So let's get into the inside pocket. Interesting thing about zipper bags that most people don't know, always put your tabs to unzip your bag at the top. Never put them at the bottom, because you'll know that this is where they always unzip from. If you leave them at the bottom and you got to get in your bag quick, you'll fumble trying to find it. So always leave your zipper tabs at the top. So let's open up the inside. Now let's talk about batteries for a second. Standard GoPro battery for us lasts about 2.5 to 3 hours. For a day's work, we would prefer to have probably 3 batteries at a time, so you don't have to actually charge when you're on a hike. Once we leave our campsite in the morning, you very rarely run into a place where you can have power, so you want to make sure all your batteries are charged. A great thing to remember is have a charging schedule. It can be just a sheet of paper, or it can be something in your cell phone that has a list of all of your batteries, and you go through every night and click, this battery's been charged, this battery's been charged, this battery's been charged. A lot of people will tell you not to do that because batteries can only be charged so many times and basically they become worthless. But the reality is, do you really want to go out and miss that once in a million shot because you didn't charge your battery instead of replacing a $15 battery? I don't think so. So to be honest with you, every night I charge all of my batteries so when we start the day fresh. So batteries is a big deal. USB cables for connecting batteries and chargers and equipment. You'll find that you can carry a lot of cameras, but you'll carry twice as much gear when it comes to chargers and accessories. You don't always have to bring your accessories with you on your hikes, but there are a few pieces that are always a great necessity to have. We carry a GoPro one, and this one's universal, will fit a couple different pieces as well. Next part of this is our junk drawer. Okay, the junk drawer, everybody has one. These are those things that you go, I may need it, I may not need it, but if I don't bring it, I for sure will need it. We bring things like the giant windscreen microphone, okay? This is a standard road type microphone with an enormous windscreen on it. So if you find yourself in that area where you're at the beach sometime, or maybe in an area where it's very, very windy on a mountainous area, this will cut the wind sound down by 50 to 100% actually. It's a great tool to have, but do you use it all the time? No. But do you want to be out when you don't have it? Absolutely not. I'm not going to take everything out of here, but basically we have chargers, accessories, and earplugs. Earphones are another thing to always bring with you when you're out on a hike, because if you're trying to review video, you always want to use the audio in your earphones and not necessarily the sound on the GoPro doesn't work so great. So if you're trying to figure out what you actually captured, those are a great thing to have with you. Toward the center is storage. I don't particularly like to download every night. There seems to be always an issue of trying to get data off of all the cameras that we use, whether it's an iPhone, whether it's a GoPro, whether it's one of the SLRs we use. We have to download them into something, and it always seems to be an issue. So I would prefer to shoot all of our medium on a card and then store that card. So we came up with a pretty unique storage system. This one here basically is our USB side. So each one of these is designated for a day's basic travel, and we also use these things. If you're not familiar with what these are called, these are SanDisk drives that actually attach to an iPhone. So you can actually download the imagery on an iPhone, which is actually what we're shooting this video on tonight, through your iPhone, put it on a USB drive, and you can either keep it here or transfer it to a laptop or a regular computer when you're ready. So that's basically all of our hard drives. We also carry a disk bag full of regular HD cards. We keep 12 in here. This is enough basically for 2 weeks for one of our SLR cameras. The next one, this is my favorite. I went to Bass Pro Shop and I found a fly holder for fly fishing, and I colored one side green, one side red, and basically we put all of our micro SD cards in here. So all of the ones on the green side are basically wiped clean and ready to use. When we use them and download them, we put them on the red side, and that means we can't use them until they've been downloaded on the computer. We usually carry between 8 and 12 of these, depending how long we go out. That usually gives us enough storage space for whether it's our drone or our GoPro or whatever uses these. So that's real important. Organization to me as far as storage goes is a big deal. And you never can be too organized, trust me. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of the inside. Okay, I keep a box of nothing but chargers and charging equipment. If you're out on a hike, you don't always run into electrical power, but let's say you may happen to go into a visitor center and there is an outlet there and you're running low on some power. So I always bring chargers for all of my equipment. Now, I'll tell you the greatest trick you're going to learn with charging equipment is most chargers use the same AC adapter plug, which is this one right here. Get a close-up of that. There you go. So I only bring one of these when we're out on our day hikes, but this particular one will fit a multitude of chargers. I don't want to spend all my day charging things, but if I want to top something off, if we're at a visitor center, if there's power at a campsite that we're actually visiting, I'll bring this out and I'll hook it up to one of our chargers and maybe top things off. So always bring one. You don't need to usually bring too many of them. Like I said, you'd rather be out hiking than charging, sitting around waiting for batteries to charge. A lot of people give us grief on this and they say, why in the world do you carry this? Because it's kind of antiquated. And it's really not. This is actually a DJI Osmo. So if you're not super familiar with what this is, this allows you to convert your smartphone into a gimbal mounted camera. Everybody says, well, you know, the GoPro and stuff already has image stabilization. Why would you want that? We don't use it for image stabilization. In our videos, we usually try to shoot at least 1 or 2 videos of my wife and I walking or talking or doing something in the environment as we walk by. And what we'll do is we'll set it up to auto track us, so it will physically follow us through the frame, which we call our third cameraman, and it gives you that appearance that there's someone that's actually filming you other than yourself. These still have a really good use for a lot of videos, and we like ours a lot, and we do use it quite often. The next bag, okay. So for you people that travel in pairs and you have that issue of GoPro just gets great audio from the person who's holding the stick, but the other person who's 5 feet away, maybe not so much, this is something you're going to want to invest in. So we've tried a couple different versions of this and we've landed on this one that we like. And what this is a Diversity wireless lavalier microphone set. And it comes with 2 independent transmitters that you can wear on your belt or clip anywhere you'd like. Each one has its own frequency. The great thing about these is that they're independent volume adjustable. That means I talk a little bit louder than my wife does, so we can actually set mine on like volume 4. She can set hers on volume 7, so when post-production comes in, the volumes are pretty level. You can do a test beforehand and kind of figure out where you like these. They come with a lavalier, regular lavalier microphone. The Velcro seems to be stuck. Here's one of them right here. We use these a lot because we travel in a convertible car. The car has a lot of wind noise, has a lot of engine noise, and it doesn't, and our traditional cameras like our GoPro are great for picking up ambient noise, but as far as voice goes, not so good. So these are great for that. The other side of it is the receiver end, and we've actually modified our GoPro mount. So our receiver physically screws to the front of it. We've put a threaded nut on it right here. So it actually attaches to this. So we can actually carry this around with this attached to it. So it makes it very usable. So the wireless microphones, if you have any kind of issues with, can't really hear what people are saying, or if you do like we do and you travel in a convertible and you do a lot of talking in the car, these are very valuable. This particular set is brand new, and you can buy a multitude of different types of them for about $100 that are fairly good quality. This one was actually under $100. This little bag here contains our drone. So let's talk about drones for a second. Most people that are doing the type of filming that we're doing for vlogging and blogging type work, you're not going to be flying for 25, 30 minutes. You want to get that cool money shot, maybe of a waterfall or you standing on the top of a cliff or something like that that's kind of cool. And realistically, you only need a couple minutes. So therefore, I recommend that you get something small and portable that doesn't necessarily have a great fly time. Most of the time when you buy a drone, it's based on flight time. So what we ended up settling on was a DJI Spark. In this little bag right here, I carry everything I need to launch our Spark for some quick shots. Most of the time, we don't fly for more than 4 or 5 minutes at the most. So here's our little Spark. In this particular bag, I carry the Spark itself with 1 battery on it. There's an extra spare battery in the other bag. Our controller, and then our OTR cable that connects the phone to the controller, and I have 1 other mount. This little guy here will do anything all the expensive drones do. The Mavics, it'll do everything they do. It has the same basic camera, gimbal system, and everything. It's just a whole lot cheaper and about the same basic size. Unfortunately, flight time in this, about 13 minutes, but typically if we carry 3 batteries with us, that'll give us more video than we need for the whole entire day. So this little pile that you see in front of us weighs about 14 pounds, and we carry this all the time when we're on the road. You've got this on your back all day long. Occasionally you want to take it off because it's a little bit heavy. And unfortunately, I have been known to set my bag down and walk away from it. Luckily, we've never lost anything. No one's ever stolen anything from us, but it got us thinking, so we went ahead and invested in a nut. And what a nut is a Bluetooth Wi-Fi tracking system. And it attaches to my phone or my wife's phone. And if this bag gets any more than about 20 meters away from us, it'll alert our phone saying that you've either left your bag or somebody has your bag. If it gets over 300 meters away, it'll disconnect, but it will constantly look for another network or a Bluetooth Wi-Fi network. And as soon as it sees it, it'll send an alert to tell you where it is. So there's a worldwide nut network that I can attach to. So if you steal my bag and you get anywhere close to someone else's nut network, I can find it again. So to me, it's a pretty cool safety thing. They're only about $15. They're definitely not foolproof, but for me, someone who just sets things down, it's a great reminder if nothing else. So I hope you found this was a little bit helpful. If you've never set up a gear bag for a hiking trip, this will give you a pretty good idea where to start with. Once again, everybody's a little bit different. You may have less things, you may have more things, you may find things. It may take you some time to figure out where that sweet spot is for you. It did for us. It took us 2 years to get to this point, but I think we've pretty much pared it down to everything you see in this bag we'll use once in a day's period of time. Hope you enjoyed this. If you do, please click the subscribe button. It's down there. Like, hit the notification bell so the next video we get, you'll get notified so you don't have to look through YouTube for us. And if you're really interested, head on over to anamericancouple.com. That's our website. Has all of our videos, has all of our blogs on there. We talk about all of our travels. We're also on YouTube and Facebook. You can find us there as well. So until next time, take care and we'll see you on the road.